start recording this session. Okay, guys, thanks for joining in. And this session is most specifically focused on running enviro on cloud servers. And basically, there are ways you can access enviro through browsers or then you can use low-end hardware like mundane day-to-day laptops or even Mac just to access enviro on the cloud. So before I start with this session, there are some questions that why we did not kind of release such a workshop. We did not talk about this before the launch. So this is not a permanent solution. There are some drawbacks in that. First of all, is that to use enviro, you need to have a connected wallet, right? And if you use cloud services like this, you have to kind of create a phantom wallet, enter your password and mnemonic keys or passphrase, and basically you are going to have your wallet open on a cloud machine. It's not a local machine, which is kind of has a conflict with all of the privacy that we want to have in our own machines, in Ledger, stuff like that. So I'm not saying that these cloud providers are not safe, but it's just this is something you have to be aware of, is that you are going to kind of transfer your fund on a machine on the cloud. So one thing that I want to ask you is only transfer those NFTs that are absolutely necessary, like tier 1, 2, or 3, and a couple of PFPs. And for those who have tier 3, just don't bring other NFTs in. Just upload your local images, much safer, and that's good. And you all know that there is only one NFT of each passes is needed. Like if you have multiple tier 1 or 2 or 3, you don't need to transfer those in that wallet on the cloud. You only need one of them to authenticate through Enviro app. That's one thing. Second one is that these you have to pay with fiat. All of these cloud providers, you have to use your credit card. And I know for people in North America, like Europe, like first world countries is not a big problem, but we have many members from other countries. And I know, unfortunately, these cloud providers do not support every region. Third one is that when you create a cloud instance that I'm going to walk you through, it's very, very important that you use the closest server to your region. So if you're living in Europe, then for sure you have to create a machine that is is in Europe. Or if you are living in West Coast or East Coast, better to pick up choose a server that is closest to your location. Another drawback that this system has, which is not that applicable for today, is it's not very scalable solution. Means that when the multiplayer comes out, there are going to be many more kind of features that are needed to invite other friends and stuff like that, and this is not going to be the solution. But for now, to simplify everything, right now we are going to, sorry, I'm going to mute some people manually. Please put your microphone on mute unless you have a question. So right now we are going to simplify the process. We are going to create they call it instance on the cloud, means that you basically set up and rent a server, a computer, a powerful computer from a provider, a company, and then get access to that directly. There are many solutions in that line. The biggest provider for sure is AWS, Amazon Web Services. We have GCP, Google Cloud Platform, and we have Microsoft Azure. These are the three big main providers, and there are sub-providers who are basically running their services on top of these big guys. And there are many of them. And some support some regions, some do not support other regions. And to name a few, I'm going to just type it in here. One is Furious. So this Furious was a startup back in the day. Basically, they try to solve the exact problem that we have today, which is running high performance application from Unreal Engine and Unity in the browser. And Unity technology actually bought them, and unfortunately they are more focused on Unity, and lower end applications means that when it comes to higher end applications like Unreal Engine, especially Unreal Engine 5, they are not necessarily the best. Uh, and the price. So I already created one instance here, but I can like walk you through the process. Very easy. Or maybe just you can easily just upload. All it takes is this. You download an application when you go to enviro.art. You have this get enviro, and you just download it, and it gives you a zip file, which is something like this. And all you have to do in Furious, you create an account, you enter your credit card number, and you just like drag and drop this and upload it there. And I'm going to just show that to you. And then it detects the zip file pretty quick, which is amazing. It asks you what is the executable file within that folder, and we know that it's enviro beta v100. We choose that one. You can put a friendly name for it. You can add a thumbnail, and then they have two offerings. One is a standard, one is high. You can just hover over this I, and you say that the standard one has 4 CPUs, 16 gigabytes of memory, 1 GPU, and 400 gigabytes of storage. And then the higher end one is almost double than that. These numbers are not that important. The only piece that is very important is that GPU. Unfortunately, they don't tell you what's the GPU here, but you can read from their documentation or contact their support. Basically, in this case, the high is much better than the low. And the GPU here is T4, NVIDIA A-T4, which is not necessarily very powerful GPU these days. And it costs you 8 cents per minute. It's the pay as you go, means that every time that you shut it down, you turn off the computer, they don't charge you. Every minute that you are using it, then they charge you per minute, which is a pretty cute feature. And then you can choose the quality. For sure, highest they can provide is 1080p. That's what we want. And then we know that the Enviro application has a fixed ratio. Perfect. And they have one helper, like gear icon, cog icon here. You can choose where to put it, whatever. And that's it. Upload it, and it takes a minute. When it's done, you would see something like this. All you have to do, click on it, start the application. When you do that the first time, it comes up, it gives you an error, and you have to click OK, and then wait for a minute, and then run the application again, and it runs. I'm not going to go through that because I just want to save you some time. But this is more on the expensive side, and it's going to just put it in number. It was 8 cents, and if you multiply that by 60, it's like less than $5 per hour. It's not necessarily too much money when you're talking about enterprise applications, but in our use case, it's not the best offering here. Second one is AWS. AWS has many versions of GPUs and services, but the most kind of prominent one is G5 instances. Sorry guys, I have to mute you. So basically, it tells you what's in it, and they have many versions of it, like one GPU all the way to 8 GPU in one machine. This is for enterprise application, and so they have the best pricing. Like for G5, it's like you're paying $1.50. They have fairly advanced workflows and APIs, which is what we are going to use for MCN predominantly. But the problem with AWS and services like this is First of all, they're very hard to use. You have to have, DevOps and developer in-house. It's not something that everyday user can actually handle it. And another problem with all of these cloud providers is that GPUs, like high-end GPUs in general, is so much in demand these days. Like Tesla, NASA, like the big research centers, they all want to have this access to these GPUs, and they are not available on every region, and it's not guaranteed that you always have it unless you enter a contract, 1 year or 2 year contract with them, which is pretty expensive. So we have many more options like this, but right now, today, we are going to stay focused on only one provider for today and walk you through how we are going to run enviro on cloud. And that one is the one that QWERTY is using, which is Paperspace. So you just go to paperspace.com. You just sign up for free, and then you would have, there are pricings here. You don't need to worry about the gradient. The gradient is for machine learning, for Python developers, AI developers. That's a different use case. What we need is a core GPU cloud, and they have some offerings here. I created a server with many of these options, and I found that, interestingly, A4000 is a kind of sweet spot here, which is kind of half the price of A5000 with 10 or 15% like less performance or frame per second, which is pretty acceptable, and you might not even notice that. So A4000 is the thing that we are going to create, and here we're just going to hit create. I'm already logged in, and I created 2 machines, but I'm just going to create this as a demo for sure, to make sure that you always you can kind of follow me. So you come to this page, which is your console.paperspace.com. Imagine we don't have these 2 instances. We just say create a machine. Easy. So there are different operating systems that you can use. For MCN, AWS, we are going to use Ubuntu's and containers on the cloud. Complicated topic, and there are reasons for that. But for simplicity, we are going to use Windows 10, which is licensed, means that you don't need Windows 10 license. Everything is kind of included. On the machine type, we are going to use a A4000. This is different than RTX 4000. This is 2 to 3 times more powerful than this one for our use case. So make sure that you choose A4000, which is like less than kind of 80 cents per hour. Pretty good price. And a storage size, we go for 250. Why? Enviro app needs 20 something gigabytes to download and not additional 20 to extract. So you need minimum 40 to 50 gigabytes on your hard drive free to download and extract. And the Windows itself uses 20 to 30 gigabytes by default just for installation. And then Windows uses scratch disk. Basically, when you run out of memory, it uses your storage drive for that. And then you're going to have a lot of contents downloaded on your hard drive, maybe movies or stuff like that for tier 3 and up. So it's very safe to say 250 gigabytes. Storage is very, very cheap. It's like cents per month. So don't worry about it. Okay. I mean, the limitation here is that they only have 3 data center: East Coast, West Coast, and Europe. In our case, we are going with East Coast because we are in Toronto and it's closest to us. And this is very, very important. Just choose the one that is closest to you. And we hit the advanced options. And there's not much of things to do, but here I would say I just put a friendly name on it. That's my Paperspace 03. That's my convention. On the default network, you don't have to touch it. On the public IP, put it on a static. There are some use cases for this. Just put it on a static, not dynamic. And then start immediately. Yes, I want this machine to start immediately after it creates. And then auto shutdown. It's up to you. If you are a person you forget to shut down the machine after you're using, just put it in 1 hour. But if you don't care about a couple of dollars per 24 hours and you constantly need to use it and you don't want it to shut down, just put it in kind of longer duration. In this case, I'm just going to put it in 1 hour because every hour you're going to pay less than $1. Auto snapshot. What is this? This is mostly for they have a system to getting kind of backup of your hard drive every once, and like here we have once per day. This adds some like expensive, but not that much. If I toggle this, you see that it's like it's not even a cent. And in my case, I just don't need it because I don't have much of content. I would not have much of content there to be worried about it. If I lose it, then those are my NFT contents. I can just re-upload them again. But it's up to you. And then enable monthly billing. If you're a power user, means that you are going to constantly use it. You know that you might not have it. You might like keep using it for, I don't know, 100 hours per month. Just activate this because it gives you a very good discount. So from around 80 cents, it lowers that to 67 cents, which is I know good decent discount, but it bills you in one bill, which is pretty high. If you have a client, if you have a target to spend as much as time you want in 1 month, this is good, but not for me at this time. Okay, just to recap, we used Windows 10, GPU A4000, 250 gigabytes of storage, static IP, and then auto shutdown on 1 hour. That's it. Create. So I could like walk you through the already existing instances, but let me launch these in the background. PS. But I'm creating this just to make sure that you following me. So PS3, it says provisioning. It means that they're setting up your machine. While it's being set up, I'm going to take a look at the chat room to see if there is any question I can answer. Okay, XNFT Crypto RNHL Ambassador. Are we going over Mac version or no? This is not about Mac. It's about hosting on the cloud. It means that you can use your Mac to kind of connect to this instance and then use enviro. So yes, Mac, Windows, low-end laptop, this is going to be helpful. Okay, PS3 is still provisioning. What else? Module, radio. Okay. Okay, I would just only answer questions that are related to this session, not other ones. As much as possible. Okay. If you have any question regarding this, like hosting on the cloud, please put it on the general chat so I could just take a look at it and answer those. Yes. I'm just going to just refresh it to see if there is any. Okay, so you see PS3, I just created this and it's starting up, and you can always hover over these three dots on the top and you see what's doing. Now it started and now it's restarting, just setting up the system for the first time. They have a pretty optimized workflow and they simplify things for you, which is absolutely great actually. Why we need cloud if we have good computer? You don't need cloud if you have a good computer. And it's highly suggested use your own computer to save money and keep your NFTs within your reach. Okay, and it's not just for like the power, it's also for Mac users that they cannot use enviro. And the problem with Mac, just to elaborate on that, is it doesn't matter how powerful is your Mac on M1 chip, on M1 Max chip. The problem is that Mac does not support DirectX 12. It's a compatibility issue, and DirectX 12 is kind of a program, a set of like frameworks that is needed for running high-end graphic intensive application and modern games. And unfortunately, like Mac Word is behind Windows Empire on 3D graphics, and that's something that Apple should address. Is obviously kind of beyond our reach. Okay, PS3 ready, launch. Okay, paper space. You see this, like this Windows is within my window. You can see two window bar means that you are logged into a Windows PC on the cloud. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a couple of customizations to make sure I'm focused on performance here. So I'm going to remove everything extra from Windows. Actually, they did a really great job for optimizing. How I can say that? Let's say a startup. If you choose Windows and type startup apps, you see they basically the only application that is running at a start is Windows security notification, which is good because by default if you install your Windows 10 there are going to be a bunch of crap here that will slow down your PC. So they did a great job at optimizing this system already by default. Things that I'm going to make sure that they're turned off is one is the notification and action system. I'm just going to turn that off. It's annoying and it takes up some resources. What else? Uh, See if there is any program to need to be removed. So they have this Citrix VM tool. You should not touch that one. They have NVIDIA GPU and latest driver already installed, which is perfect. Paper space, and these are for sound. So basically what I see here, and they have Chrome installed as well. They did a great job at removing any extra applications as well. One other thing I'm going to do is very important is default apps. You should do that in your personal computer as well. When it comes to web browser, after you installing Chrome that is already being installed here, you just click on it, choose Chrome and switch anyway. Okay, this is to make sure that when you run Enviro app, it opens up a browser. By automatically it opens up a Chrome browser that has your Phantom wallet in it. Okay, what else? So just to make sure that, and I'm just going to right click on this, search hidden. I hate these like extra features, but we are, if you right click on the taskbar, you see task manager. Maybe it's in this form, minimize form, you just double click on it to expand. And second tab, you see they have a CPU. I guess the base frequency is 3.2, and if I'm not mistaken, this type of GPU, okay, yes, it's golden. It's goes up to 3.8 or 4 gigahertz, which is pretty good, I would say. They have 45 gigabytes of memory, means it's twice or 3 times more than what we need here. Disk is, we talk about it, not a problem. Their Ethernet is perfect. The speed and how you're going to test it. Well, we are going to download something called enviro. Download get enviro. And you can see it's receiving almost a gigabit per second. And it's going to take only 5-6 minutes with this speed to download the whole 18 gigabytes of enviro, which is perfect. And the most important part in the system is the GPU. GPU is NVIDIA RTX A4000. Make sure that A exists before 4000. It has 16 gigabytes of memory. It's almost twice as what we need here because we optimized enviro quite a bit last month, and it's using less than 8 gigabytes most of the time. Okay, so you see everything is working here, and one thing while this is being downloaded is, okay, it's a performance. Now it's being downloading. I'm going to show you the PS2 system that has exactly same specs. I already set this up before. You can see that it's NVIDIA A4000 and everything else is same, and I already downloaded NVIDIA, the enviro. So basically this is the same system. The only difference is that this needs to be finished downloading. This one is already being finished uh, and ready to go. So right now, this system as is perfect. It works flawlessly. And all you have to do is just you go to your console again, and then the system you created, you just hit launch and you come up with this. I'm pretty sure you downloaded the enviro beta. You just go in it and then you have this executable file to run, right? I just right click on this and just pin it to a start. I can unpin it here. I already pinned it here to start, and I'm just going to click on it. First time you're going to run this, it tells you that it needs something to be installed, like C++ and stuff like that, and you just say yes, and you install it. It takes a minute, and then you double click on that application again. That's it. Okay, now I'm running enviro. Let's try demo. Tier 1, confirm. I put this on the side. Close this one. I would not put any image in the background. Everything that takes up from your resources is not great. Okay, so done. You're inside enviro. Nothing else is needed. It's that simple. There is enviro is running on a machine that is being served through your browser. I guess that's it. That's the whole session for today. I just have one thing to add. Okay, for those, here you can, if I exit, similar to everything, similar to using enviro as usual in your local PC. First of all, you can of course hit F11 to make it big, full screen, or make it windowed and make it smaller. I would say it helps a lot on the performance and frame rate if you make it a bit smaller, unless you have a very beefy GPU. But here you can simply connect wallet. And if you remember, we made Google Chrome as a default app. So it just opens the default browser, which is Google Chrome in this case. Enter your password. If you see in I have 3 NFTs here. And then, boom, it detected. I just spam click on this a couple of times, thanks to blockchain. Okay, it did pretty quick. And I just enter my enviro. Perfect. So now you're in it. If you find it a bit choppy or not as smooth or has some lag, this is very natural because you're connecting to web browser. This is but still working very great. There are 2 more options if you want to enhance it. One is if you see there is little circle on the top, an overlay kind of icon, you can click on that. This is designed by the Paperspace team. You can here download an app, and then when you download that, you can install it, enter your credential, and instead of serving this system, this PC, through browser, you would serve it through that lightweight app. That's great. The only issue that I found is that the quality is really bad. It actually adds some lags. What we are going to do here is something better. Let's say we already downloaded this app. We go to website called parsec, parsec.app. I'm going to put it in the chat room. Oh, not paperspace.com. Okay, you cannot copy from here and to your browser from this machine to your local machine. Just that's for security, which is very good. So parsec.app is the name of the application. So basically, parsec is potentially they are going to be our technology partner as well, and we are going to have integrate their technology into MCN at some point. And so what they're doing is they are number one in remote accessing for high fidelity graphic application or low latency applications. Basically, you can use TeamViewer, Microsoft Remote Desktop, all of those. They're good for opening an Excel sheet, browsing internet, but they have some latency, some delays, which is not really that good. Parsec does the exact same thing, but for high performance applications like games, 3D softwares, etc. And they have the best in class in the industry, lowest latency, the best security, and very, very user friendly. All you have to do, download the free version. In this case, Windows 64-bit. They have a Mac version as well. So basically what you do here, you install Parsec on that cloud machine, and it takes only seconds. You don't need to install anything else. Just next, let's say per user, whatever. It's a very, very lightweight app. And that's it. So you create an account here for sure, right? You boom, boom, boom. You sign up, you create an account, and then you install the app on the server. User email enter here. You install the same app on your local machine. Given it's a Windows laptop or even Mac, they have app for Mac as well. You just install the same thing, enter your credentials as well. What happens here is, like I'm going to show you on the other side, when you run parsec, I'm going to pin it here. So this is a parsec that is installed on the target machine, which is the server, the cloud server. This shows that I'm logged in and this is my computer. And when you log in from your Mac or your PC, you run parsec, what you see is this. I have many more machines, but you are going to see something like this. So if the name of this machine is, oh sorry, emergency alert. Okay, so this machine on the cloud, this is the name, and when I run parsec on my MacBook, on my local machine, I can see the same thing here. All I'm going to do is just hit connect. So now what happens is that instead of running from browser, I'm going to close this so better performance. Same thing would be served through this application, and it gives you a much better performance. And you can easily confirm it here. So make it bigger, and I have this statistic here up and running for you to see. We know that tier 3 is more intensive, so I'm going to just log out, connect wallet again. I know 1, 2, 3 I have it, spam click, and it just worked. And then tier 3. And let's minimize this. So Stonehead, if I go for A5000 or 6000, going to give you better quality. So A5000 is going to give you 10 to 15 more frame per second at the cost of and the cost expense is twice as A4000. It's up to you. I have both of them, but I find this A4000 very, very good. And A6000 doesn't give much over A5000. It mostly has more memory. It has 48 gigabytes of memory. That's for different type of applications or running multiple instances of enviro through containerization, Linux things, and it's not a perfect use case here basically. Okay, A4000, the system is this one, PS3 that we created, and we know that the specification, we created this, we installed the parsec app on the other side, and then a parsec app on our local PC, same credential, free to use, and you just enter. This is what you're going to see. I'm not sure about your experience on Discord because I'm recording this session and also I'm streaming through Discord. There might be some lag for you, but for me, there's absolutely zero lag. So parsec is just a stream. It doesn't transfer information. Yes, it transfers pixels. It's a pixel streaming application. There is no data being transferred. Only pixels on your monitor being. And it's actually a P2P application, means that they don't have any servers. The data doesn't pass through their server, just this connecting data, like IP and stuff like that, to make those connections. So even those pixels is a P2P. It transfers between your cloud server and your local machines through bandwidth, internet bandwidth. That's it. Okay, all I can tell you, I'm very impressed with this quality. I'm going to do some crazier stuff to make sure that it actually does what it's supposed to do. Maybe this one, maybe a concrete here. I love emissive material. You already know that, so I'm gonna put that one here. Circumfocius. You, buddy. Ooh, not you. Maybe you and and you. And I'm going to just lower the daylight intensity and even directional brightness and skylight 0. Go to camera, lower the exposure. Done. Look at this. And if you look at on the left side, we only used like 20-30% of the CPUs. We used less than 8 gigabytes of memory, including the Windows itself. This Windows is pretty optimized, but it's very good. And this GPU did not pass the 8 gigabytes, including everything else that is running in the background. So that's impressive for a 4K resolution, texture like this. If I go down, high quality emissive materials and daylight, everything. This is very, very highly optimized application for the quality that you see here, and it uses less than 8 gigabytes of GPU memory and system memory. So I guess that's the essence of this session. Honestly, I tried to push this far and I haven't seen any issues. It's like it's my local PC. Again, there are limitations. You have to give them your credit card, which is you're doing all day long, so not a big issues, I would say. And it's not as scalable when the multiplayer comes out, and hopefully by then we would have a more developed MCN system. And it's not available on every region, but people in North America and Central Europe should have absolutely zero problem with that. So, yep, this way you can just run enviro in browser or lightweight app and access through any low-end hardware, including every Mac, low-end and high-end Mac. Just one thing about parsec is that parsec uses your local system GPU, your laptop, your Mac, whatever, to help on the performance on the streaming side. It doesn't need any powerful GPU, and it supports M1, M2, the new Macs. But just let you know, maybe Chromebooks, stuff like that, cannot run parsec. In that case, all you have to do is just like run the instance in the browser directly, no need for parsec. And I'm here for any questions that you have. Okay, I would just start reading from the top. Yes, parsec user running gameplay remotely. So J313, so this parsec is usually for running a game remotely, but enviro involves connecting a wallet. How secure it would be? Kind of scary, no? Okay, so the solution that we are working on MCN is that, let's say you're running a cloud in the browser, right? Like like this, right? This is a machine that you see. There is like, this is my local machine and this is the cloud machine. This cloud machine is running within this browser. And when I run enviro and hit connect, it opens up a Google Chrome that is embedded inside that cloud system, right? And you have to have Phantom Wallet installed there and transfer your NFTs there, which is not ideal. I mean, not a big deal for now, but let's say if you have a big wallet with hundreds of NFTs and like you have a BAYC in it, I don't know. Like, these companies are trusted by many like large Deloitte, like, YC. They have big clients, so for sure they have some serious security kind of measure in place, but it's kind of, against all of the privacy measures that we have in crypto. So our solution down the road would be, when you connect your wallet within here, it opens up a pop-up outside this machine, means that on your local Chrome browser. This is a very complicated topic that we are dealing with, and that's why we need some time for it. But I wouldn't say it's scary, but don't transfer anything there. And yes, parsec is only for pixel streaming. It has nothing to do with data transfer. Okay. And sorry guys, most likely stupid. Does it run on Mac? Yes. Solon 19. Again, you don't even need Mac. This is a Chrome browser. You create that Paperspace machine, instant machine, as explained at the beginning, and all you have to do is just like, click on launch, and it opens up this, and you start using it per instruction. And if you want to have a better performance, then you download parsec, create an account, install it, run it, and do the same on your local machine, and this is what you're going to get. Just to say, would probably want to make a separate wallet. Yes, and Wardo mentioned create a separate wallet and send what's absolutely necessary there. This is what I did, and I have a wallet that has only three NFTs, 1, 2, 3, and don't try to hack me because I'm going to destroy this wallet after this demo. What else? So most likely. Okay, have you heard for anyone running Windows on Mac using enviro? So running Windows on Mac is possible, but running enviro on Windows on Mac is not, because again we go back to a problem with DirectX, what do you call it? That's like programming framework, and it's needed for high-end 3D applications. So back in the days, Mac had boot camp, means that you could install a complete Windows from scratch, and just boot up the system with Windows. That was a solution. Today you only have to use parallel desktop, and parallel desktop, the maximum DirectX version that it supports is DirectX 11, and it's not really planned anytime soon for them, at least, to support DirectX 12. So that's something that Apple computers needs to address. And yes, big thanks to QWERTY and Dr. Dope as well for the paper space suggestion. Easy, yes. Sibus, sorry, I'm going to put you on mute. Pardon me. It's crazy and can use enviro like this. So cool. Yep. How much? How much is to do this on browser? I mentioned at the beginning of the session, it's 80 cents per hour. Basically, with 3-4 hours is like paying for one coffee in a Starbucks. I guess it's very, very reasonable. Uh, okay. Yeah, that looks crazy. iPod, MacBook. So yeah, with the way I sound configured it, about 7 cents. Okay, that's crazy, bro. Pick and white. Okay, yeah. So basically, if I'm not sure how many hours you spend on Enviro, if you are not like Cranzo or Local Joe, who have not slept for last 48 hours, I guess, and they were all within Enviro. But normally, let's say if you spend 2 hours per day on average, one day more, one day less, we are talking about, I know, something very cheap. Let's say it's like $1.50 multiplied by 30 days. You're talking about $40 per month, $45 per month, if you use it for a whole month. I guess if you have a good hardware, a good gaming PC, go for it. And if you don't, you can just do it right now. Clearly, right now. In 5 minutes, you have Enviro up and running, and high quality, high performance. I don't see any problems, to be honest with you. Okay. If we save pics or video on papers from Enviro, we can choose our local computer. Okay, no. So when you are within a paper space server application, you are within that. You are within that sandbox or window, right? Everything is confined to there. What you can do is basically two things. One, just log in your Google account, Google Drive, and let's say you save everything and put it on desktop, call it my saves, and then put everything there, upload it to Google Cloud. And easier than that, it's just like, I take a shot here, go to gallery, I see it here, I can just directly send it through email to myself. You don't have to even do that. The Enviro provides that feature automatically by default. Okay, code only, thank you. I have a good computer, but this is a really great option. Sometimes you don't have access to your good computers, or you want oh, something very, very interesting. Parsec has another very cool feature, which is a multi-user access at the same time. It means that you can have a team account. It costs like $9 per month. Uh, but basically you can have a couple of accounts underneath one bigger account, and multiple people can access to this computer or is Enviro at the same time. On It would be only one mouse. It's not like multiplayer thing, but it's very good. Let's say you have a client from one of these crypto communities or NFT communities, and you want to design something specifically for them. They can just sit on the other side and sometimes take over the mouse control, and let's say, okay, no, I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about this corner from this view. Say, okay, I get it, and then you start working on this end. So it's perfect for collaboration as well. You can learn about it from the parsec itself. It's a very, very nice app. Okay. Shane, please. A link recap would be helpful. Sure. I would create. I would just put a couple of links in, and we create kind of simplified instruction. Also, we are going to post this on YouTube as well. And I've used it years ago. I'm going down. Okay. Anything else, guys? Okay. Well, thank you so much, guys. I hope that was helpful, and I believe there is no excuse not using your Enviro. Just with at the price of a coffee, you can spend hours and hours in Enviro. Uh, okay, another question. When you create a machine, you will have given. Okay, that's it. Okay, thank you guys, and have a good one. I'll be back on the general chat. Thanks.